Hey, Donald Miller. Welcome back. So it's been a little bit since our last video, but I figured I'd make one for today. Um, so, estimates. I was on an estimate last night, and if you're going out to do estimates, especially if you've become like a subcontractor or you have your own business and you're trying it out on your own, it's important that you have a good rapport with your customer, like an honest rapport. There should be give and take, and there should be questions that are asked. Okay, you should be able to answer tough questions, like not attacking questions, but you should be able to explain your estimate. Like, you should be able to say, this is going here, this is why we're doing this, we can change it up. If you're really good, you can change it up on the fly and give pros and cons for anything that you're doing in that estimate. Okay, and that takes time to learn. All right, and but when it's happening, don't get flustered. Just take a breath and see what they're not always. It's not always about price. It's more about what they want. Okay, so you got to realize that. Now, what happened yesterday? And so I had to go and witness an estimate between a carpenter and a homeowner. The homeowner happened to be my mother. And I don't want to say that played a factor. I bet you it did with my anger. But as far as just witnessing what I witnessed, I don't think it played a factor. So I went to this estimate and I tried to take a back seat, and I wanted to just kind of see the rapport between the carpenter that was a contractor, okay, and my mother. And I wanted to see the give and take. I wanted to see that there was, you know, a symbiotic relationship forming there where I would feel comfortable just kind of walking away. Because I really didn't want to be on the estimate. I wanted to go home. It was late. But I understood while I was there. And I didn't see the rapport at all. Actually, I saw this guy. I don't want to say like bullying, okay, but definitely like he had no customer service qualities to him, and there was no rapport. Okay, there was this. It was him kind of pushing around, and I let it go on for a little bit, but at some point, I just wanted to start asking some questions. And I started off with easy questions, and as the questions weren't being answered, they did get a little harder, okay? And eventually, you know, if you're in a give and take on questions, all right, if the answers are correct, then the communication will continue in a good manner, okay? But it wasn't going that way. It just the rapport wasn't there. He wasn't answering questions. So eventually, I just started asking, "Are you going to put this down in writing?" All right. He goes, "No, I'm not. I'm not putting anything in writing." I'm like, "What do you mean? Like, how can you come onto an estimate and say you're not going to put anything in writing?" He goes, "Well, we're talking about it, and I'm giving you a number for what we talk about." I'm like, "Whoa, dude." I'm like, "That's just red flag city." And I'm trying to still not be part of this. So I advised my mother, we're all in the same room. I'm like, estimates that are not itemized, okay, leave all the liability for the homeowner, okay? Because the homeowner takes on the greatest risk at that point. And I started trying to explain to her the dangers in that. And I explained that, in 20 years, I've never just given a number and not backed it up with what I was going to do on paper. Okay. At this point, this gentleman decided to tell me that he was already in a verbal agreement with my mother, and they had a verbal contract. I looked over at my mother, and I saw fear in her eyes, and she gave me the head nod. No, that's not true. Okay. Now you're in my territory. Okay. The moment you decided to try to rip someone off in that manner, that you're saying that you're in a verbal contract when you're not in a verbal contract, and now you're trying to cement the number that you gave her verbally with nothing behind it and nothing in writing, okay, that is why contractors are getting a bad name. Okay, because there are people out there doing this kind of stuff that are just giving verbal numbers, and whatever you get, you get. Like, there's nothing in writing that they have to live by. They can kind of fly by the seat of their pants, and if the customer's not happy, they just roll. They got your money. Okay, you agreed to it. You gave that man money. Okay, and my mom, that's where this. So if there's contractors out there that are preying upon the senior population, or women and people that can't say no, or they can be bullied, okay, you can tell it's happening. Okay, if you like, I try not to show the rough side of me, I guess I would say. I try to put the soft side first and just be nice, and maybe we can salvage this thing. But at that point, when you see someone that's like, no, like they're being bullied, okay, guess what? It's my turn. Okay. So I said, the best way to, well, it wasn't the best way yesterday when it was happening, but I said, there's no way you're in contract with my mom. If my mom didn't sign anything and your name isn't on anything and there's no line items that you're doing, you're not in contract. Newsflash, not gonna happen. So this guy politely leaves. And he had, his game was up. He got caught. There's nothing else to it. I later found out that he decided he was going to do the plumbing work, which the tie-in was a difficult tie-in. Like, we're not talking about an easy tie-in. The tie-in for this plumbing work was going to be difficult, and there's no way I was going to let that man tie into plumbing, okay, without his insurance and all that paperwork and all that letterhead stating he was tying in. Because if he messed up the tie-in to that sewer stack, okay, you're looking at a minimum of $10,000 in repairs. You think he's going to stay around for that? Nah. He's going to run. Okay, then he's going to do the electric. That's funny. This guy on his card states he does electric, which is illegal in this township. Okay, if you're not a licensed electrician, you can't do electric. I know there's carpenters out there that think they can, and we'll let them think whatever they want. If you have a carpenter, no matter how good his number is, if he's stating that he's going to do the plumbing and the electric, I'm going to tell you right now, make sure, you shouldn't even hire him. Okay, and I understand pricing, and he does good work or this. If he really did that good of work, he wouldn't need to do plumbing and electric. Okay, that's the game these guys are playing, is that they're not making enough on the front end on their carpentry work, so they make it up on the plumbing and the electric. So that's how they make their backdoor money. It's completely unethical. Okay, but that's what they do. But if he was that good on the front end, he wouldn't need to do the back end charges. But more importantly, his insurance doesn't know he's doing that. Okay? So if something happens, the homeowner's screwed. Completely screwed. So I wish the better side of me came out and I was able to, talk him, basically explain exactly who he is in a calm manner. And it probably still wouldn't have went well, but it didn't happen that way. And yeah, I ended up yelling at the guy, and I didn't really yell at him. I just called him what he is, and he rolled. And my mom didn't get ripped off. It's a win. It's a win, but you still. It's a shame it happened that way. All right, don't be one of those guys. Okay, become a professional tradesman, and be an asset to the community. Don't be a blight on society. All right. Enjoy your Friday.